For years, we all thought mobile app design was about having a clean look and some slick animations, but you know what? That's just not going to cut it anymore. The game has completely changed. By 2026, the entire focus is shifting from just looking good to actually performing well, financially. This is the new reality, the new imperative for anyone building a mobile app today. And this quote really hits the nail on the head. A beautiful app used to be the finish line. Now, it's just table stakes. It's the bare minimum you need to even get in the game. The real scorecard for your app's success has shifted to cold, hard business metrics. This means user experience isn't some fluffy design choice anymore. It's a critical make or break factor for your app's survival. So just how big of a deal is this shift? Well, put it this way. User experience has officially graduated from the design studio. It's not just for designers anymore. UX now has a permanent, reserved seat right in the executive boardroom. Let's dive into why. The conversations leaders and founders are having these days, they're not about fonts and color palettes. They're about return on investment. They're asking the tough questions. How quickly do our users get that aha moment? Are they sticking around or are they leaving? Are they actually converting? So metrics like activation, retention, and especially this big one, time to value, or TTV, have become the new language of UX. For anyone building a product, this isn't just a trend, it's a strategic requirement for survival. Okay, so what's really driving all this? I mean, why is this happening right now? Well, it's not happening in a vacuum. There are three fundamental, massive shifts in the market that are making the old ways of thinking about UX completely obsolete and, frankly, incredibly costly. So here are the three big game changers. First, the idea that you can win by just having more features, that's dead. It's over. Second, AI isn't some cool futuristic add-on. It's a baseline expectation from your users. And third, time to value has shot up to become the single most important metric for growth. Let's break each of these down. I mean, really think about it. Any killer feature you build, no matter how clever, can be replicated by a competitor in just a few weeks. The buttons, the menus, none of that is your real advantage. So what is defensible? A superior, effortless experience that gets the user to their goal with zero friction. That feeling, that effortless flow, that's your new moat. That's the only thing they can't copy. And when we talk about friction, the stakes are unbelievably high. Get this, just a 1-second delay in your app's load time can cause a 7% drop in conversions. Poof, gone. Every single second, every unnecessary tap is literally costing you money. It's a direct hit to your bottom line. But, okay, let's look at the flip side, the massive upside. According to some landmark research from Bain & Company, if you can increase your customer retention by just 5%, a tiny 5%, you can boost your profits by a staggering 25 to 95%. That's huge. And what's the number one reason people uninstall an app? You guessed it, a clunky, frustrating user experience. The financial case here is just crystal clear. All right, so we've established the problem, right? The market's different, the pressure is on. So what do we actually do about it? Well, it requires a completely new design playbook, one that's built on a set of strategies that directly tackle these new challenges. First up in the playbook, adaptive UI. And no, this isn't just about a little chatbot popping up on the corner. This is about interfaces that literally reconfigure themselves for you, the user. Based on what you've done before, the app anticipates what you're going to need next. It can collapse a painful 6-step process into just 2 simple taps. This is how we solve the single biggest point of mobile friction, too many darn taps. And you can see this evolution perfectly just by looking at the home screen. Gone are the days of the static dashboard that just sits there showing you information. That's a museum piece. The 2026 home screen is a smart command center. It predicts what you need before you do, surfacing your common tasks, giving you one-tap shortcuts, and letting you continue right where you left off. It's proactive, not reactive. It works for you. And let's talk about another huge source of friction. Forms. The old way was asking a user to manually peck out 12, 15, or even more fields on their tiny screen. The new way? It uses intelligent inputs. Your app can use the phone's camera as a scanner. It can pull existing data from the device. It can apply smart defaults. So the form essentially fills itself out. We're moving from a dumb, static page to an interactive, intelligent workflow. You know, an overwhelming, confusing screen is the #1 enemy of conversion. It just is. The most successful apps today follow a simple, beautiful rule: one decision per screen. That's it. You take a really complex task and you break it down into a series of simple, clear, bite-sized questions. The user never feels overwhelmed. And the result? This simple pattern can lift your trial to activated user rates by a massive 15 to 30%. And finally, the last part of this new playbook is all about how the app communicates its intelligence to the user. See, we're way past pretty animations that are just there for decoration. Now, every little micro interaction has a job: to confirm an action, to guide the user, to build trust. Loading states become predictive, showing you what's coming next. And even those empty states, the blank screens, they're no longer dead ends. They're personalized moments to activate the user and guide them to their next step. So we've seen what the future of mobile UX looks like. It's pretty exciting. But this brings up a really important question. It's time to turn the spotlight on you. Where does your own app stand? Let's do a quick self-assessment. Okay, take a look at this scorecard. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you honestly rate your app on these things? Does your UI actually adapt automatically for the user? Is your time to value under 2 minutes? Really? Is that home screen predictive, or is it just a list of links? Be honest. This isn't just some design exercise. This is a financial health check for your product.
So what does your score actually mean? Well, if you're up there in the 40s, congratulations, you're already operating at a 2026 standard. But, and this is a big but, if you scored below 20, that's a major red flag. It means you are actively leaking revenue. That friction in your app is like a hole in your funnel, and users, retention, and cash are pouring right out of it. So what does all of this lead to? What's the big, overarching idea that ties all of these trends together? Well, it's a concept called invisible UX. Think about it. When a user experience is truly great, it becomes invisible. People don't notice the clever design or the slick interactions. They just notice that getting something done feels completely effortless. The absolute best design is the one that just gets out of the user's way. So to wrap it all up, the new standard for good design is clear. It has to be adaptive, changing for the user. It has to be predictive, anticipating their needs. It must be structured around what the user actually wants to do, not just a list of features. It has to be fast, and it absolutely must be intuitive within the first 30 seconds. If your app doesn't check all these boxes, you're already behind. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important question. Forget about the interface for a moment. If you actually succeed in creating this invisible, effortless experience, what will your users say about how your app feels? Because that feeling, that's the whole ballgame. That's the future of mobile UX.